I want to talk about the psychology of woke corporations because we sometimes think these massive corporations are aligning themselves with some of the craziest ideas of the left. What's driving this? Do the people who run these companies truly believe all this? Because if so, we are in trouble because you've got people who are steering, if you will, the various ships of our corporate society, and they are, well, let's just say it, partly nuts. Well, that's not really what's going on. And I want to give an example that clarifies the point. This is the CEO of Goldman Sachs. His name is David Solomon. And it turns out he's a smart guy and he knows what's what. And even though Goldman Sachs is kind of woke, even though they're pushing some woke initiatives here and there, we're going to find out that David Solomon isn't really on board with it, and privately. I mean, this is a small consolation because you go, well, if he privately thinks so, why doesn't he enforce those ideas? Well, there could be various reasons why he succumbs to all this, but the point is that at least we can take some solace in the fact that this guy is not, let's just say, politically bonkers. So David Solomon goes back to his alma mater, Hamilton College. This is in upstate New York. I've spoken there a bunch of times. And after he gives a small talk, apparently to a relatively small group of students, and they had come to him to talk about diversity initiatives and climate and so on, and he had some interesting things to say. And we know that because afterward they wrote an angry letter to the administration saying that he had, quote, belittled them and that his comments were, quote, patronizing and disrespectful. Now, when students use this kind of gobbledygook, they don't mean he was actually disrespectful. They just mean that he said things that they don't agree with, or he rejected their premises, or he basically called them out. So let's look at what David Solomon said to these students. And this is the students' point of view. So we're taking their word for what he said. Apparently, the first thing he said was, I do more in a week to help the climate than you do in your whole life. And I think what he meant is, I deploy giant amounts of capital. And to that degree, I'm in a position to have more impact on society, but also on nature, on the climate, than you do as undergraduates. You can have sort of heated opinions and indignant points of view, but you're not really doing anything. And in fact, he goes on to say, hey, listen, are you not driving in a car? Do you not take airplane flights? Are you not using fossil fuels every single day? Kind of exposing the hypocrisy of these students. Well, because think about it. If they really thought this is all so bad, they would immediately amend their own lifestyles not to do it. But they seem to think that, no, it's perfectly okay for us to keep doing it as long as we mount political activism on behalf of our opinions. And I think David Solomon is right to say there's a little tinge of hypocrisy there. Apparently, the students also accused David Solomon of being kind of a racist. Why? Because he said, gee, some of you are on financial aid. Now, he went on to clarify, I'm not trying to say that you personally are financial aid. I'm saying that really a large number, in fact, he says up to 80% of students at Hamilton are on some form of financial aid. And his point is, the reason that the college can afford to do that is they're investing their endowment in a financially beneficial or profitable way. If they go around thinking, well, we're not going to invest in this company because, you know, they don't support climate change, and we're not going to support this company because they're not diverse enough, he goes, we're not going to be able to get the financial return to be able to do all the stuff that we do for you. And the students, of course, were like, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's not that the students, what they're saying is untrue. They didn't go, oh no, we're not on financial aid. All of us are paying our own way. They're like, you're insulting us by bringing up the fact that we can't afford to pay our own way, and therefore the college is actually helping us out. And then Solomon makes a third and final point, which is, hey, listen, why don't you visit China? Why don't you visit India? See how some of the rest of the world gets along, and see that the rest of the world, in order to grow, in order to advance, in order to gain some of the same industrial, some of the same strong middle class that we have here in the West, they need fossil fuels. They even need a lot of coal, a lot of carbon. And so they don't listen to any of this nonsense. And his point is that that is a point of view that you're unfamiliar with. You somehow probably think you know better than them. Hey guys, hey Prakash, on the streets of Calcutta, aren't you familiar with the studies that show that the oceans are rising? And Prakash is like, well, I'm trying actually to buy a bicycle. I'm trying to basically move out of my hut into a normal apartment. So here's David Solomon teaching these kids about life, and guess what? They don't really like it. Debbie and I made a New Year's resolution to lose weight, and thankfully PhD Weight Loss came to our rescue. Debbie's already lost 24 pounds. I've lost 27. We're now both on maintenance. The program is based on science and nutrition. No injections, no pills, no long hours in the gym, no severe calorie restriction, just good, sound, scientifically proven nutrition. It's so simple. They make it easy by providing 80% of your food at no additional cost. They tell you when and what to eat, and guess what? You can do this without ever being hungry. The founder, Dr. Ashley Lucas, has her PhD in chronic disease and sports nutrition. She's also a registered dietitian. She helps people lose weight and, most important, maintain that weight loss for life. If you're ready to take the step of losing weight like Debbie and I have, call PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition at 864-644-1900, or you can find them online at myphdweightloss.com. The number again to call, write it down, 864-644-1900. It's time.